welcome back to the channel. You're watching and I'm back. I'm gonna do a sit down video today. I'm gonna tell you about what I've been reading, what I'm gonna read next, and I think I'm also gonna do a little cheeky tag because I don't want to ramble on and annoy you for eons. Generally, how am I doing? I think I'm pretty good. We just got back from like a 4-day vacation in Palm Springs with some very good friends of ours, celebrating my 30th and our friend's 40th, and that was pretty lovely. Yeah, kind of zoned out in the desert and expanded our minds. Now I'm home trying to get back in the swing of things. It's starting to get hot here. I can like feel the temperature rising, and that is kind of worrying, but what are you gonna do? We're also doing like a big, not big, I mean, it's like dimensionally pretty small, but it feels big to me. We're doing a big project in our front yard right now where we're re-landscaping stuff. When we moved in, it was all concrete, and I was like, this has to go. It's really depressing. So we tore out the kind of connecting piece that connects our two driveways that flank our house. And we're turning it into like a little planter area. So we got a bunch of hardy, I'm hoping, desert plants, and my cousin, who is a landscaper, is doing it for us. We're paying him, obviously. But we removed the oleanders there, which are really poisonous to dogs, I found out, and we bought a bunch of plants and like a gravel, which is like a pinky creamy color. And that is finally making some headway, so it's been really fun. Okay, here's my planter place I was talking about. It's like this area between the two flanks of the driveway options at our house. We got so many little dudes and like huge dudes. Honestly, very expensive. Honestly, very expensive. But like, how beautiful is it gonna be? Got some cobblestone pavers too. It's gonna be sick. That's kind of the only thing that's happening in the house right now. We are still battling with a City of Yuma inspector in our guest house. It's kind of like a very long, bureaucratic, boring story, but absolutely no movement has been made because we are in the midst of a battle. It's the only way I can describe it.
It's not really that long of a story. He came out to look at the solar.
Okay, Kiki wants me to tell it. It's not that long of a story. Basically,
very interesting.
Basically,
very interesting.
The City of Yuma inspector came out to our house because we got our solar panels installed. Very cool, very energy efficient. We love it. You know, making use of the sunniest place on earth. While he was here, he decided to be an asshole and was like, hey, what are you guys doing back there? And we were like, nothing. We're not doing nothing back there. Because we may have not gotten everything permitted. You know what I mean? It's a shed out there for dads. It was an existing structure, and the people who were out there doing the work were drywallers. So you don't need a permit for drywall, right? Well, you do in Arizona apparently. And he was like, you need a permit for the drywall. And we were like, what? We didn't know that. And he was like, yeah, you do. So you better stop all work or I'm gonna give you a citation. And we were like, okay, that's a bummer. This is a long story. I'm still telling it.
I could have told it backwards. You're adding a lot of embellishing details.
Okay, so that happened and we went down to the City of Yuma and they were like, you don't really need a permit. Like, honestly, just finish up what you were doing and don't do anything else. And we were like, okay, well, that's exactly not what your guy told us. So can you get him in line? And they're like, yeah, we'll talk to him. So basically, we've just been waiting until the solar panels are blessed and they have their final install, because that's also been a nightmare for some reason. And like, the plans have had to get changed. Things were done wrong. Like, this inspector has been to our house like 4 or 5 times now because of the solar panels not being correct. So we're waiting until the solar panels finally get approved, and this inspector—
It's kind of long.
It's very long! And I've been filming for 4 minutes. And the inspector will never be on our property again, hopefully, and then we can just continue and like live our life and no one will care. That's our goal. It's a very sexy house update, but like, it has drywall. Maybe I'll go show you later. I'll probably show you because it's pretty exciting. Like, it looks like a house in there. Here's my dad's house. It's papered so we can get it stuccoed. I think it's gonna be dark in here because we covered all the...
Covered all the windows with plastic so the inspector couldn't see in.
Okay everyone, here's my dad's house. That's gonna be like the L-shaped kitchen. And then here's the bathroom. It has a pocket door. Kitchen, nope, sink, toilet, shower. Open.
Where all the magic happens.
Ew, open kitchen to like little love seat area. I'm gonna put a little bed here. But look at all the freaking drywall. It's gonna be cool. Also, our carport is falling. The roof literally falling. Like it's braced right now by one little piece of wood out there, and we have to get it replaced. It's gonna be thousands and thousands of dollars. So this house is cursed for sure. Like nothing good has happened to us house-wise since moving here, but like we have no choice but to keep on loving her and try to fix her up. So everyone please send me prayers that things are rounding a corner and we're gonna start getting into some good stuff. That's my hope for the house. As far as what I've been reading, what have I even been reading? Let me pull up my Goodreads. Okay, there's a few current reads that I'm in the midst of that I'd like to talk about. One is Strangers to Ourselves by Rachel Aviv. My friend Sujay gave this to me for my birthday. It's a nonfiction book looking into the lives of mental health and people who are in crisis and distress in different parts of the world, and how culturally and kind of personally they dealt with mental health crises, and what that means as it connects to wider communities who are kind of embroiled and invested in the same things, i.e. mental health professionals, the families who are affected by people in mental health crises, etc. Really interesting reportage. It feels like akin to like a Patrick Radden Keefe kind of exploration of journalism, and I'm really liking it so far. I know Rachel Aviv is like a beloved New Yorker columnist, I believe, and this is my first thing that I've read from her. I'm about halfway through. I've read about the first guy who was in the home that didn't believe in pharmaceutical drugs, and I read about the Indian woman, and now I'm on the black woman who jumped off a bridge with her kids. So very harrowing subject matter, but it is well told, and I'm liking to read it before bed. That's kind of my vibe of nonfiction. I usually have like an essay collection or nonfiction in general to kind of thumb through while I'm going to bed. I just finished a reread of Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison. The Sunny's Book Club met about it and had a great discussion. Thanks again if you joined that. Truly expanding conversation-wise, and I loved my time with this book again. Nothing more I can really say about it, but if you are curious, there's another video on my channel where we spend an hour talking about this book. Right now of The Iliac Crest by Cristina Rivera Garza. I honestly might DNF this one because I spent so much time away from it. I got to the middle of it and then I had to pick up Song of Solomon for book club, and it's just been too long now. Might come back to it and start it again from the beginning, but I enjoyed her story collection. I just don't feel the need to go back to this one right now. And then I also am considering picking up Eastbound by Melise de Carangel, the author of Painting Time. Lauren Euler actually did a really great, was it in the New Yorker? I think it was in the New Yorker bio on this author and this new book, and she actually is the one who turned me on to Painting Time in the first place, and it seems like a really great like little hit to follow Song of Solomon before I dive into Biography of X, which is the Sunny's pick. I read the Deborah Levy book, August Blue. Thought it was fine. Very mid. Not her best piece of fiction in my personal opinion. Oh, I'm seeing Alex from What Patreon rated it 5 stars. I liked my reading experience. I liked my reading experience while I was in it. It follows a composer named Elsa. No, she's a pianist. A pianist, excuse me. It follows her as she's wandering around Europe, kind of like seeing this like weird doubling person who is following her. It deals with this kind of like interpersonal relationships between her and her piano coach, who kind of became her surrogate father. It was interesting. I read it a lot before I went to bed, so I felt like a lot of it went over my head. But in terms of stickiness, like how I felt when I read The Man Who Saw Everything or Hot Milk or Swimming Home, this is bottom of the list for me. But still worth it if you're a Levy head and you want to get into it. I also read Couplets by Maggie Milner. I didn't like this book. I didn't like this book either. I feel like someone's gonna kill me if I say that out loud. Alex liked this again, 4.5. Me and Alex have beef with these book reviews right now. This is a queer woman who's coming out, and it's told in couplets, which is a poetry thing. And like the actual reading of this book, I didn't know how to approach it, and it felt a little hard for me. Like I didn't know if I should read the poems that were presented in the stanzas with like the rhythm that they were intended to for the poetry, if I should just like read them on the page. So that took me out of it a lot. The actual approach to like how to encounter these words and what to do with them. If you've read that, let me know if that makes sense to you. I thought it was fine, but I thought a lot of the sex writing around BDSM and kind of like sub-dom relationships a little corny, if I'm gonna be honest. It was like a little corny. I think that's all I've read since I talked to you last. Okay, and I guess now we're gonna do a short impromptu book tag, which I haven't prepared to at all to round out this video. Why not? This is put together by Kai, who is at Kai Rhone. Rhone? I think that's how you pronounce their last name on YouTube, a mutual of mine that I like their videos. So it's all about herbs and kitchen gardening and things you would plant in the springtime. So let's start out with Rosemary, a book that stands the test of time. Okay, so to me that prompt means it needs to be published a long time ago, because my reading life is very short in comparison to some of the books that have existed before I was even a glimmer in someone's eye. Am I right? The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I love this book. I read it compulsively when I was in middle school. I think it is a great story of friendship and perseverance, a great odyssey journey, deals with nature themes in a really interesting way. Such an approachable intro for people to sci-fi fantasy realms and books in general, and it is a classique for a reason. If you haven't read The Hobbit, I think you should, even if you're not a SFF head. It's genuinely a good book. Mint, a book that offers a fresh perspective. Okay, fresh perspective means like, I feel like it could mean like optimistic or sunny, but I'm gonna feel like new instead. I'm gonna use fresh in the way of signifying that something is new. I just saw it and I lost it. The Employees by Olga Ralvin. This is a dystopian workplace novel set on a spaceship in the far future, I would say, honestly. And it has a small crew. It follows objects of strange desire and magnitude and kind of examines workplace culture, productivity, a critique of what we value in life in really interesting ways. It's told in these statement logs from the passengers and the crew, and I've never read anything like it, and I think you should read it if you haven't gotten a chance to yet. Next up, Basil, a book set in the Mediterranean or written by an author from a Mediterranean country. Bronte, The Lost Daughter, where they're at that beach in Greece. Yeah, that's my pick. It's a great book, and if you haven't watched the film adaptation yet, you should. Olivia Colman is incredible in it. It's one of my favorite adaptations of a book that I've ever seen. Lavender, a book like a warm, calming hug. It's Gotta Be Calypso by David Sedaris for me. Definitely, I mean, I've never reread it. So that's funny for me to call it a comfort read, but I would reread it, and I think about rereading it sometimes, which means something to me in some capacity. Thyme, an underrated book. I do not cook with thyme. Almost at all. An underrated book. This is so dictated by what's closely accessible to me too, so take that with a grain of salt. let's say the exhibition of Persephone Q, shall we? Jalen actually gifted me this book early in our romance, and I really remember liking it. It's definitely a DWM. This is the story of a woman who becomes pregnant. Her partner slash baby daddy is an artist, and she is kind of conflicted with searching for his attention, and tells the story of like a post 9/11 Manhattan. I should reread this honestly because I can't even talk about it that well, but it was good. Cilantro, a hate it or love it type of book. I love cilantro. I kind of feel like those people that have that gene where it tastes like soap are lying. I know they're not, but I don't know. I don't know about your genes. A hate it or love it kind of book. Can I just be boring and say Big Swiss, the book I just dragged? I'm gonna say that. And then lastly, Bergamot. Started bitter, ended sweet. A book you were unsure of but ended up liking. That's interesting. That's a harder prompt. Oh. Honestly, motherhood. Like in the beginning, the way all of Sheila Heti's books actually, especially Pure Color, and how it begins is like that biblical fable. Very weird. You have to sign on for the ride and be a part of her headspace, but it definitely works for me in the end, and it's kind of an investment thing. Like you have to commit to the first 50 pages and like read them uninterrupted for a Sheila Heti to work for me. That's kind of my vibe. Okay, cool people. I love you so much. I hope you're having a good time. Sign up for the May edition of Sunny's Book Club. We're reading The Unwritten Book by Samantha Hunt. It's going to be fabulous. There's merch restocks coming. There's a new t-shirt. It's going to be great. A mug. Cool stuff happening. Have a good spring. I love you. There'll be a vlog soon.